Yo, sometimes shit ain't clear to you. Sometimes you think you know what's going on, and everything around you is confusing. And what I mean by that is you you put these you put these expectation on yourself of these things that you're supposed to do by this certain amount of time and things like that, and you're supposed to set goals and all that stuff. But there really is no timeline in life. You know, I mean, it's good to set goals and stuff, but it really ain't no timeline. This shit kind of just comes and goes. You know, it's not it's not so much to be planned, but more so to be enjoyed. Like, you gotta enjoy this shit, and by enjoying this shit, you gotta have you gotta have the right tools to do the job you're trying to do. And then that got me thinking, like, I always see that my kids come up to me and, hey dad, let me ask you a question, let me ask you a question, let me ask you a question. Which is completely fine. But they they're holding their device in their hand. And they're like, well dad, you never really asked anybody for anything. I'm like, well, I got my phone in my hand. If I want to know something, I just look it up. Well, they negate that. They totally forget that that information is there for the useful stuff. But for nonsense, they know it's right there in their hand. I I don't know. I just didn't have that. I didn't have that access to everything. And it leads me to a comment I make a lot. Like, how can you have the answer to most things, not everything, but most things in your hand all the time, with you all the time, but yet and still people be so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Or miseducated, or not knowledgeable, or lazy, or whatever you want to call it, but you got the answers to the shit that you're looking for in your hand. So let's go back. If you don't have the right tools, then you're not set up for success. You're not set up to win. So that starts, you got to learn. You need to be taught. You need to, you know, schooling. So with that being said, you are set up from the beginning. If you go to a public school, you are set up from the beginning to fail, because they not teaching you any of those five key things. They're just not. And it's that way because you can't get a curriculum that will fit into a structure from public school, which is government funded, and things like that. You can't get a curriculum in place to have teachers to teach it under that cap, under that amount of money that they have allotted for that program. So you don't end up with bad teachers, but you definitely don't end up with the best teachers. And I can say this is a fact. I can remember having teachers and really feeling like, shit, I learned shit until I was in like 11th grade. But it wasn't until I was in 11th grade that they found out that, I might be like, slightly advanced, a little bit smarter than some other people. But for the better part of my life, I had people label me a troublemaker and shit. you know, because a lot of us get tossed and pushed to the wayside. I know that this is a thing because my daughter is in the same boat. The only difference is she goes to a better school, and the programs are there for these kids to be, I guess, singled out. You know, you want to make sure that everybody's getting the attention and the stuff that they need. So it's, I mean, if you from where we from, it's a lot of it. I mean, it's just circumstance. You know, it's not the, it's not the. A lot of times, it's not the skill of the man; it's the will of the man. Because I've been in situations where I thought maybe I should have did better at certain things, and then I had situations where I've done way better than I thought I should have. You know, everybody learns different. I was having a conversation with my brother this morning. I'm like, a lot of this stuff that I be talking about on these vlogs and stuff. I said this stuff that we talk about. You know, he's like, well, why you doing it and stuff? I mean, you trying to get your YouTube game up? And I was like, nah, man. I said that ain't even it. I said honestly, it's free therapy. If somebody grab a hold of this video and they need it and it help them, that's what I was meant to do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Loki without the murder, and I'm burdened with glorious purpose, and I just, I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind these days. I think that's a win-win for me, and a win-win for whoever choose to watch the video. But so I'm gonna grab something because I was touching on that. You know how these kids are set up for failure. We all came to that system. We all set up for failure. Imagine if you were in school and they said, hey, we're gonna teach you about financial literacy, mental health, critical thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these banking, all of these things that, credit awareness, all of these things that essentially you wouldn't so much learn as an adult, but you're gonna come in contact with as an adult. And to me, that's crazy. Because you need it. Because all the school says is go to school, get money, pay your bills. But don't nobody tell you what to do with your money. Don't nobody how to tell you how to manage the shit when you get it. So they setting us up for failure. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. They setting us up for failure. Call it what you want, but we can't win that way. We'll never win that way. Be a setup for failure. I'm gonna find out. I gotta put some stuff down that I was gonna talk about and stuff, but it was crazy. But anyway, back to it. Yeah, it's just 5 ways of school. It's just trying to, keep you poor, essentially. 1, school don't teach us about life. From 1st grade to 12th grade, we spend 12,960 hours in school without learning financial literacy, mental health, taxes, time management, acts of kindness. Think about those 5 things: financial literacy, mental health, taxes, time management, acts of kindness. 2, school wants us to be in debt. So, like a broke 18-year-old could go $200,000 in debt for college, but can't get a $10,000 loan and start a business. That don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. 3, school punishes us for failure. How does that work? How you being punished for failure? Failure is just the opportunity to begin again, this time and more intelligently, right? That's what we're trying to do. Every time you fail, it's a time to learn and do better the next time. 4, school teaches us to put money in the savings account instead of investing it. So, for instance, if you're making $40,000 a year and you invest 25% of your annual income, with a 12% return rate, in 40 years you can have $9 million. Okay? Who's letting you know this information? Not the public school. Who? Not your parents that are in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? That you soon enough to be in because of, them getting screwed over in the system as well. I mean, unless you had parents that were, had all of those things, you go lose. It's so crazy to really understand that you can't do a lot of this stuff on your own. You really can't. It's easy to go out and, I'll pay for a better schooling and stuff like that. Most people can't even afford groceries, let alone to be able to send their kids to a private school. So you gotta pick one. These just Thursday thoughts. I ain't gonna make this all long and stuff. I didn't even want this to go this long, but that was on my mind for today. That's all. And I just thought I'd put that out there. Just really dwell on that though. It's crazy. That is the most asinine shit that, when you really think about it and you put it all together. Financial literacy, mental health, taxes, time management, acts of kindness. I mean, it's crazy. Telling people to be considerate, you know what I'm saying? Don't waste time. Pay your bills. Control your finances. Keep your mind right. You could probably learn that between 10th grade and 12th grade. They can spend 3 years just hammering this shit in. But they can't put a curriculum together because they want you to really not succeed. They want you to be at that right at the poverty line type shit. And if you want more, you gotta get that shit. Don't wait for people to hand it to you. You know what I'm saying? And if this the first time chiming in on this, you should be watching the other videos. But yeah, it was like I said, just Thursday thoughts. I wasn't gonna go off on nothing. I was trying not to go off on nothing too serious today, but I had to. That one was weighing on me, and I was like, man, I was looking over some stuff and I seen that, and I was like, I'm gonna share that information. So take it as it is.